IPOB has issued travel warning to all Ndibo in the north to come back home, come back home. They are telling you to start coming back home. Do you know why? Because of the Edo State attack. Remember that Uromi killing that happened a couple of days ago? Yes, so a lot of northerners are threatening fire and brimstone that we are going to attack. There will be a reprisal attack. We'll start from the north. Every southerners in the north will start attacking them there. So this is why IPOB is calling, especially the Igbo, because it looks like it's the Igbos that are always at the receiving end when things like this happen. If you're wondering and you're asking yourself, oh, why do I need to come back? Remember what happened in 1966. Yes, before the Civil War. Remember, eh? Remember the killing that started in the north. Yes, that is especially the reason. But I'm going to talk about what IPOB, according to their spokesperson, Emma Powerful, the indigenous people of Biafra. IPOB has issued an advisory urging Igbos residing in northern Nigeria to urgently relocate to the southeast, and they are citing growing threats of violence and insecurity following the recent killings in Edo State, like I told you. And you're asking, what is the dots? Where is the dots going to connect? You find out, hang around. And anyway, now that I just remembered, before I continue, please, there is a video I'm going to play you. There is a video I'm going to play for you. If you have not read or you've not heard about what happened in the 1966, during the 1966 coup, and the after attack in the because of the 1966 coup. Stick around. But before I go dive in further, please, I urge you to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, kindly click on the subscription button, turn on your notification bell, so that anytime I post, you're going to see it. And please, please, please go to my video session and watch my longer videos. That is where you get more details, information about every story I post. That is where you see more elaborate information about every story, not just watching, half stories, even about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. All these posts about Burkina Faso that I put up on my channel, you will see the longer stories that is even more informing. That is where you get it. Where? On my video session. So kindly rush down to my video session and start watching all my videos, please. And also go to the live session, because now I'm going to be posting more of videos and less of shorts, so that at least I want to be elaborating on stories. Now let's go back to the IPOB issue. In a statement released by IPOB's Media and Publicity Secretary, Comrade Emma Powerful, on Saturday, which is today, the group warned of possible retaliatory attacks against Igbos living in northern states after the killing of individuals identified as Hausa hunters in Edo State. You'll be wondering the connection. What is the connection between Edo and Southeast? You know that when things like this happen, see, people in the northern part of the country, they wipe everybody from south to southeast to your Igbos to them. When attacks like this, when things like this happen, they just, he's an Igbo person. A Delta State person, oh, he's an Igbo person. A Delta State person, oh, he's an Igbo person. Just the way people in the south also term all of them as a Hausa person. They're all Hausa people, but there are also different tribes in the north, aside Hausa and Fulani. I'm sure you know that. So continuing the story, before I play you that video, a Biafran group claims, the Biafran group, of course, which is the IPOB, claims it has gathered credible information and intelligence pointing to an imminent threat to lives and properties of Ndibu that are living in the north. Throughout history, this is me quoting them now in my powerful, violence in northern states and northern Nigeria has often been directed at Igbos for events they had no part in, like this one now, this Urumi killing. Did Igbo people kill them? No, it wasn't Igbo people that killed them. But don't be surprised, and when attacks start happening in the north, it is the Igbos that will bear the brunt and take major part of the share. That is what they are saying here. And this is not me calling for war, incitement, or attack of any sort. It is just be careful, and I'm reading out what Emma Powerful said. The statement, he said, only a tree sees the axe coming and still remains rooted in the ground. Oh, aye. Very, very important proverb. It means that only a tree sees a problem coming. Kitty, kitty, kata, 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 kata. They see problem, they run the community. It still remain there. So I think it's time to be on the safer side. If you can't take your properties, just for a while now, I mean, for if just for a little time, you can come back, let the tension douse down a little bit, and you'll be able to go back, because a lot, see, it is your fundamental human right as a Nigerian to live in any part of the country you want. Freedom of movement is your fundamental human right, and those people that were killed in Edo State, it is a terrible thing to take any life, no matter what. But the thing is, when the authorities or the government has left the people no choice, they start taking powers and protecting themselves by themselves, because it don't take long where people don't talk about this herdsmen attack in Edo State. We've seen women protest, we've seen children protest, we've seen young people protest in Edo State. They attack their women, they kill their women. I saw gory pictures of two people, a man and a woman, that they killed in their farm. They butchered their leg, cut off their leg, cut off their arms. It was too gory. It was too gory to behold or to watch. By these herdsmen, so-called herdsmen. And now, part of the reason why the people in Urome, the story that people are not telling you, is that it was these hunters that they mobbed. One of them brought out a dagger to attack the vigilantes first, before the vigilantes started mobbing them and people gathered. And people will be wondering, why would you have access to weapon? Why would you carry unlicensed weapon? You're traveling with weapon. They say they were going from the north, they were going to River State, and they were stopped in Edo State. Why will you travel with weapon? That is the question. How many people are allowed to travel with weapon without being searched? Why? And they told you to come down to search you. You brought out a dagger. It doesn't make sense. Forward with the story. IPOB referenced past violence, particularly the 1966 pogroms, where thousands of Igbos were killed in the north. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. They also warned that history should not be allowed to repeat itself. According to them, I'm quoting them now, we urge our people not to become victims again. If you can't live with your properties, at least send your family members back home to Alibu first, the group stated. Now, if you're wondering what happened during the 1960s, let me give you a snippet, small information of what happened, how Igbos were killed. At some point, they packed Igbos. It was said that Igbos women and children were packed to leper centers to be dehumanized and devoured by people that has leprosy. It's story you wouldn't want to hear, but I'm going to play this snippet with one of my interview with Barrister Darlington so that you will hear it yourself and watch it. Then we'll come back and talk.
Single one of them, were they killed? How come when you now did your own counter coup, you descended on innocent women and children in the north? Promise, you need to see the killing.
Igbo women and children in the north, you're saying?
The wars happened on July 29.
What happened?
1966. They rounded up all Igbo women they can find anywhere in the north, especially Kano. Put them inside and then drove them into leper settlements. Leper. And dropped them there to be messed up by these people. Some women killed themselves.
They were being abused?
Sorry?
Were they abused?
What do you think they were? I said they carried them into leper settlement. All these men that have leprosy and all that. For them to ravage these women. I mean, Igbo women. Some were collected at the market, some were collected on the road. So in their homes, they were rounding them up. Just drove them inside there and then emptied them. And told those, I'm talking of those whose teeth are turned brown. Hygienic standard is not in their life. You can imagine flies all over. You now carry women. Say they should go and ravage them. And these women committed.
This happened in Nigeria.
They died in numbers because some who went through that experience, they never survived it. You can imagine. And this is very contagious.
Did you watch that video? And how are you feeling after watching that videos? These are some of the things that happen to Ndibu in Nigeria. So a lot of people will say they don't blame Nnamdi Kanu and the rest when people start asking for secession, which is, by the way, you're right. It is not an offense. You're not a terrorist. The fact that you want out of a country doesn't make you a terrorist. You are not. As long as you're not harming anybody, you're not killing anybody, you're not causing havoc or destroying infrastructural properties or projects, you have done nothing wrong. So these are some of the things that happened. Why do you think they took out history from our curriculum? It is because you will not be able to know what happened. But somehow these stories should be told. These stories has to be told. If we're talking about unity and being united, there has to be restitution. Stories has to be told. Answers has to be given. Questions will be asked and answers will be given. Well, this is how far I can go today. But whatever it is, please, people, everybody, it's not just Igbos now. If you're a southerner, you're in the north, and the area you are, things are really, tensions are high. I think it's time you just come back for a while or just be safe out there. And this is a disclaimer from me. It is not me calling for incitement or war of any point whatsoever. But this is me just saying, please be careful, be cautious, be a good citizen, and protect yourself and your mental health wherever you are. See you again next time on 247 African. Bye for now.